All right, quick rundown. Luther, super strength. Klaus can commune with the dead. Allison can rumor anyone to do anything.
Except she never uses it.
I heard a rumor. You punched yourself in the face.
Obviously, a great detail this season is that we go back to the 60s and we kind of get to see new versions of the characters, new sides of them. But Aidan, number 5 is once again in his Umbrella Academy duds, the uniform the whole time.
The outfit's fun, man. It's definitely an iconic look for him and something that was really nicely adapted from the comic books. I was curious about how shorts would work with the character, but you also do see 5 in, different contexts and different situations bring out different sides of him. So it's not like he's tied to the uniform. You do see him explore it. But, season 1 and season 2, they're instantaneous. They're continuous. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 weeks of just rushing around trying to put out fires and save the world from extinction. So he hasn't had the time to go to a tailor, is how I think.
That's a great point. And then, David, I was curious about the hair specifically for you. I mean, there's the line from Klaus that he gets described as Antonio Banderas, which is a huge compliment. How was that hair to work with?
It was great. The only time it would become kind of, you'd notice it was really hot. It was really hot, and the glue would melt, and it would kind of just screech down my sideburns. But aside from that, once you put it on, it's kind of just becomes part of your body.
Everything in our new lives is connected to the plot to assassinate the president. That can't be a coincidence.
None of us are supposed to be here, right?
We know something changes the timeline.
What are the ways you were excited to see your characters grow and change in the 60s?
I was really excited because it was almost like her growth is sort of so significant from the end of first season to the beginning of second. So it really felt like creating a new character on some level. She's much happier. She's more open. She falls in love for the first time. And there's then, obstacles and complications with that because she's with a woman in Texas in the 60s. It was illegal, I was just really looking forward to playing Vanya in a new way and mm-hmm. Having her experience happiness and love and continuing her growth through the season.
And Emmy, I mean, Allison's one of the characters I feel like really is ready to move on and find a new life in this era. What'd you say?
Yeah, this season's Allison is very raw and very stripped down. And I think she, after her run-in with Vanya in episode 8 of season 1, I think she's kind of realizing her mistakes, stepping into season 2 and kind of, immediately being confronted with the civil rights movement and the segregated South and still not having a voice. I think this has provided an opportunity for her to kind of start over in a new way. And I think potentially for the first time in her life, she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's kind of liking who she sees and who she's becoming and how she's decided to use her voice in a very different way.
I liked the idea as well that Luther, one thing me and Steve Blackman talked about was how he shouldn't be as much of a crybaby this season, that this change for him has toughened him, as opposed to him, because I think there is that thing when he first gets there, I think he probably would have had a bit of a weep on his own, in the corner, probably over a sandwich. And then I think he starts to toughen up. I think this whole experience has toughened him slightly, and he's in this underground gangster world that he's living in. He's like a henchman. And I think he's started to realize what the real world is. And it's not all about him, and I think there's a lot of poor me going on in season 1. And I think he battles with that a little bit in season 2 when he finds out that Allison is married. But I think there's an element of him that he wants to just get on and deal with it and just live a normal life, or as normal as he could possibly live as a gorilla man.
You don't know anything about
me. I know everything. You are an open book written for very dumb children.
One other element that I absolutely love from this season is what Ritu Arya brings to this as Lila, and she gets to play off both of you in very fun ways. How was it kind of welcoming her into the cast? I mean, you guys obviously all worked together so closely on season 1, but she's kind of this new element to it. What was it like having her?
I feel like everyone was very drawn towards her. She's obviously very talented, and she brought something really mischievous and nuanced to Lila, I think. Especially when it was all of us. Remember, remember in the car when you popped on us, Aidan?
Yeah, that might have been my first scene with her, actually.
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, because in that moment she is like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, I know. It's my little brother. I mean, my big brother.
It's very weird, even for me. Yeah, Lila was a really cool addition to season 2. I mean, she's a brilliant counterpoint to 5 because they're both so poised and on edge, and she's certainly a lot more playful and he's a lot more reserved. So to see that contrast of those two characters in the same scene was fun. It was fun to be in that environment and then just see Diego sort of react to those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's as much as I'll say without giving away too much.